Latin word for Iowa being 170 years old. I wouldn't even try to pronounce it, but I can say happy 170th year of Iowa being a state.
Governor Branstad, you once told me the reason you ran for your fourth term was because you wanted to be the governor at the time of the sesquicentennial. And now here you are, you're still governor, it's the centésimo septuagésimo. Happy 170th birthday, Iowa. Happy birthday, Iowa.
Centésimo septuagésimo. Happy birthday, Iowa.
Iowa, like me, like anyone else, we were born at a very young age. Happy centésimo septuagésimo, and many more to you.
Hi folks, I'm Congressman Dave Lobzak. I want to wish you a happy centésimo septuagésimo. You're looking great for 170, and here's to at least 170 more.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Iowa.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of a fun way to kick off the press conference today. I guess I first want to begin by saying the Lieutenant Governor is on family vacation, so she couldn't join us today. And, you know, we had a tragedy last week in Pella, a tragic accident. 3 people died and 2 others were injured. I did call the mayor of Pella and City Hall to express my sympathy to the community. It's a community of great faith and strength, and they're enduring this tragedy, I think, very well. But it's a very sad thing when something like that happens. Well, I want to welcome all of you to our wonderful State Historical Museum. I'm not even going to try to say that tongue twister that was just mentioned in the film. I thought Chuck Offenberger and the congressman did a pretty good job, but I'm not going to try to say it, but I'm very excited to join in the celebration of the 170th birthday of Iowa becoming a state. And we became a state on December 28th of 1846. The governor was James K. Polk, which this county is named after. And in his diary on that day, he said, well, nothing of any significance or consequence happened today. He only signed a bill making Iowa state, but that was his viewpoint, I guess. I remember that from when we were preparing for the sesquicentennial and we studied his diary. As you know, Iowa became the 29th state to join the Union in 1846. Many years later that we had the Great Civil War, and Governor Kirkwood was the governor, and he recruited more soldiers to fight to save the Union than any other state per capita in the whole nation. So Iowa played a very important role in helping preserve the Union. I was born 100 years after Iowa became a state in 1946. So I was born during the centennial of the statehood, and that's when Governor Robert D. Blue established the Centennial Memorial Foundation, and they had a great celebration. And that foundation is still available. We still provide scholarships, and from time to time recognize outstanding Iowans to receive that Iowa award. And one of them was in the film, Simon Estes. As governor, I really, as Chuck Offenberger said, look forward to and enjoyed the opportunity to work with former Governor Robert Ray on the 100th anniversary, the sesquicentennial of our state back in 1996, and we had a wonderful, enjoyable time. And that was just at the time we were working on this when this building was being opened. I didn't even know there was such a word for 170th anniversary. And I guess what would happen is they called a Latin professor at the University of Iowa who had to be a little creative in putting that together. He said the ancient Romans probably wouldn't have marked an anniversary like this. But as you know, we're not ancient Rome, and we have a different approach and a different tradition. We in Iowa love our history, and we celebrate our history. And for starters, this museum team is putting the finishing touches on a pair of new exhibits that they call Iowa History 101, which explores some of the bedrock stories that every Iowan should know about who we are and where, how we got here and what we become. One of the galleries features a traditional display of artifacts, including boots that Charlie Whitmack laced up when he climbed Mount Everest. And to my knowledge, I think he's the only Iowan that has successfully climbed Mount Everest. And the NASA flight suit that Peggy Whitson wore in one of her earlier trips into space. The second gallery is designed for children, and I have a hunch that my grandchildren will enjoy coming to see it. There's an old Oliver tractor, which you can see at the back here. I remember those when we were haying as a kid. And there's also a Lego replica of the 1801 Grand skyscraper, which is Iowa's tallest building, the principal building, along with displays here at the museum. A multimedia traveling exhibit will roll out early this coming year. It's a custom-built Winnebago motorhome built in Forest City, where I went to high school. The RV will visit all 99 counties over the next 3 years, and it will have exhibits about Iowa's history in it. Together, these exhibits will help tell thousands of Iowans and out-of-state visitors about Iowa's wonderful history. We all benefit from the generations who came before us, and our job is to pass that legacy on so that future generations will also know the history and heritage of this great state. The museum has a strong schedule of programs and parties to celebrate our 170th anniversary, so I invite all Iowans to join in that celebration. There's a big event coming up this Friday night, December 5th. It's the 5th annual Celebrate Iowa Gala. It's a fundraising event to support the exhibits and programs of the State Historical Society of Iowa. I happen to be proud that Chris and I are co-chairs of that. And one of the reasons that Chris and I enjoy attending the gala is because it features Iowa cuisine, Iowa entertainers and artists from all over the state. It is a fundraiser. I think the tickets are $100, but you can contribute more to be a sponsor, and I'm proud to say that we're doing that. And there are, for people under 35, I think the tickets are $75 as opposed to $100 for those above. But it's a contribution for the Historical Society of Iowa, and it helps support these exhibits. I look forward to enjoying with the rest of the attendees History 101 exhibit. In fact, Urbandale elementary students are providing a living wax museum of famous Iowans during the gala, which is something to look forward to. And I look forward to seeing it because I love Iowa history, and it's great to see the next generation of Iowans are also interested in telling the story of Iowa history. So at this time, I'm very pleased and honored to turn this over to the Director of the Department of Cultural Affairs, Mary County, to give you more details about the gala and the exhibits and all the exciting things to come. Mary?
Thank you, Governor. Wonderful. Thank you all for being here this morning. As the governor said, my name is Mary County. I'm director of the Department of Cultural Affairs based in this building, and we're very much looking forward to joining Iowans from every corner of the state for this celebration. As an agency that works hard to connect all 3 million Iowans to the people, places, and points of pride that define our state, we're proud to celebrate Iowa history and even make some of our own. The Hands-On History Gallery for Children is the first of its kind here at the museum, and we're so excited to let young kids from across the state experience it and begin doing so this week. And the Winnebago Project is the most ambitious traveling exhibit we've ever produced, thanks in part to the generous support of EMC Insurance and Casey's General Stores. Plus, Mike Wolf from the popular TV series American Pickers is narrating a video for the RV. These partners value history and community as much as we do, and we are so grateful for their support in making this project possible. In the meantime, one of the best opportunities to see the new exhibits here at the museum is at our Celebrate Iowa Gala, as the governor mentioned, this Friday, which helps us raise funds to support our exhibits and the supplementing educational programming. At this year's gala, once again, we are going to feature an incredible lineup of Iowa specialty foods and drinks from across the state, including, this is what I'm most excited about every year, is the official Best Burger from the Chuck Wagon restaurant in Adair, Iowa. The Iowa Arts Council has lined up a roster of homegrown musicians to perform, including Christopher the Conquered. And as the governor mentioned something, again, we're really excited about, they're just adorable in doing it, Urbandale's Webster Elementary School, this living wax museum, where you basically have these half-pint historians, and they can watch each young historian magically come to life as the famous Iowan that they have researched within their school. So that's going to be a really fun aspect of the gala. But for the actual 170th of the birthday later this month, we're hosting a 3-day event where visitors of all ages can learn more about our great. You can find all the details on our website at iowaculture.gov. But until then, we'd invite you to consider for just a moment how much Iowa has accomplished over the last 170 years and what we might do in the future. Iowans share such a fascination and a lot of pride, as many of you know and can relate to, with being an Iowan. And here at the DCA, we're honored to serve as a statewide resource for all of the history, art, film, and culture that makes us who we are. And that's why we're so proud to tell the story of Iowa, not only for those who live here, but anyone else who has an interest in Iowa history. We appreciate your interest this morning and encourage you to support our newest exhibits and programs. So thank you for being here, and with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Questions on this subject? And it is still possible to get tickets for Friday night. I'm looking forward to seeing a big crowd as we have the last 4 years here to celebrate the gala. Questions on this subject first?
Is that video that you showed on the website, your website?
Yeah, Michael, we'll probably post it. Okay. And we'll probably post it and can also email you a link to it. Yeah, isn't it great?
Yeah, it is cute. Any other questions? Well, you might have some questions on some other subjects as well, so we'd be glad to respond there.
When is your appointment at Trump Tower, and what's your answer?
Well, first of all, I was very honored to be able to meet with Vice President-elect Pence when I was in Washington, D.C., and also I met with Reince Priebus, and we have a tentative appointment, but we don't know for sure exactly when it's going to be. That obviously the president-elect's schedule is very busy and it changes, but we're going in tomorrow and we'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're coming back on Thursday. So we do intend to meet with President-elect Trump at that time. Just as I met with Vice President-elect Pence, we really primarily focused on issues that are important to our state, especially federalism and the need to reduce some of the tax and regulatory burdens that have held back the economy. I'm very excited about what we've already seen, even before being inaugurated, with the project, the carrier project there in Indianapolis. And we're hopeful that a lot of other good things will come with the signal to the business decision makers that the overregulation and the uncompetitive tax burdens that have been placed on American business are about to change. And I think that's going to be really helpful to those of us as governors who have worked so diligently to try to attract business and jobs. And we felt like the federal government has been working against us, and now we're going to have a federal government that's going to be on our side. So I'm excited about that, and we'll talk about that and other subjects as well.
Would you accept becoming a?
Well, it hasn't been offered, and you know, I love my job as governor, and this is my focus, and it's my intent to continue to focus on this. I'm excited about the new makeup of the legislature and the opportunity to accomplish great things here, and also the new leadership in Washington to have more flexibility. For instance, we are delighted with the choice of Seema Burma as the new head of CMS. She was a consultant that worked with us on both the Iowa Health and Wellness Plan, which we had to get a CMS waiver to get that implemented, and also on our managed care for Medicaid, our Medicaid modernization. And so we think we're going to have somebody that really understands the system and somebody that's supportive of giving more responsibility to the states and understands the need to have people have some skin in the game. So all of those things are encouraging. And I obviously I have some real interest in things like renewable energy. My son is also, Eric is, as you know, work for the Renewable Fuel Alliance, and he'll be going into Washington as well. I mean, into New York as well to meet with President-elect Trump and his transition team. And I think his primary focus is going to be obviously on things like renewable energy, and that he was very excited about the fact that he got candidate Trump to come to Gowrie, Iowa and visit the Poet plant there. He asked great questions. He became a strong supporter of renewable energy, and we're very interested in continuing, you know, this all of the above energy policy, which uses made renewable energy like ethanol and biodiesel and wind energy, but also recognizes the need to replace foreign petroleum with American-based petroleum.
Governor, I want to ask about that. Last
Yep.
week, the Amerigroup reported they lost $147 million in the first 9 months, and AmeriHealth had lost $130 million. Are you afraid that those kind of losses mean that the state is going to have to put in substantially more money toward those companies, or that they'll pull out?
Well, no. The whole idea of managed care was to transfer the risk to the MCOs as opposed to the taxpayers. And we're going to see $110 million savings for the taxpayers of Iowa. And this is a long-term contract. It's a 7-year contract. We intend to continue to work with them. They recognized in the startup there would be some losses, but they're in it for the long term, and they've done it in many other states. You know, we're I think the 39th state to do this. So they've had experience and know how this works. And we're very hopeful that as we continue to work to focus on helping people stay healthier, that's going to reduce their return visits to hospitals. People stay healthier, and it reduces the cost. Well, we're certainly open to and willing to make adjustments that are reasonable. As you know, the costs of prescription drugs has gone up significantly, and that's true whether it's managed care or not. And we have made an adjustment in that area, and I think appropriately so. So we'll continue to work with them. This is really a partnership, and we're very pleased with the additional transparency, and Iowa has probably the most accountability built into the system of any of the states. So we're pleased the way it's going.
Governor, how did the conversation with your wife about China go?
Well, it is, and it's a decision that would be a family decision if indeed it is offered by the president-elect. And my wife and I have had several conversations. We've had family conversations with our children as well, and we're going to continue that.
Why at this point in your life would you do all this?
Well, I don't want to really speculate on it. I just want to say that I love Iowa, and I'm very proud and very honored to have been selected by the people of Iowa to serve as their governor. And obviously, I also love America. I'm excited about the new direction for this country and a president who's committed to making America great again, restoring our strength and leadership in the world. And I guess I've always said that I'm not really interested in going to Washington, D.C. I want to do things that I can do to help this state and help this state grow and prosper and be successful. And as you know, I recently returned from a trade mission to both China and Japan. And I met with, when I was in D.C., with the ambassadors from both of those countries. We continue to be a very big agricultural state dependent on exporting the quality products that we produce here to other parts of the world. And those Asian markets are very, very important for us. And we had some good meetings on my trade mission, and we're seeing, for instance, Iowa premium beef, that new plant in Tama, now has a contract with Sumitomo to market their beef products in Japan. And then I had a good meeting with Minister Han, who's the agriculture minister from China, and about reopening beef in China, which they have committed to do, but there's still several hurdles that we have to go through to get that done.
You said you're a student of history.
Yep.
How much Chinese history have you read, and what is your judgment on the Communist Party?
Well, China has a long, long history, much longer than ours, and they've had many dynasties, and you know, I'm not nearly as knowledgeable about Chinese history as I am about American history or Iowa history. But I learned something on my very first trip to China in 1984. The Chinese alphabet is different than ours. Their alphabet has a group of symbols, and the Chinese symbol for danger and opportunity is one and the same. I think that's kind of interesting, and that kind of sums up where we are between our two countries today. America is, you know, a world superpower, and China is a growing superpower as well. And I have seen the changes in China. I saw what it was like my first trip in '84. Almost everybody was riding bicycles. They were still wearing the old Mao type outfits. It was very drab. The only thing with color was maybe the clothing the children were wearing. Well, it's changed so dramatically since they adopted a market-driven economy. And that market-driven economy, and the Chinese, if you think about it, historically, have always been a very ambitious entrepreneurial people. And once they developed a market-driven economy, even under their one-party rule, they have dramatically improved the lives of their people. And consequently, they've had a growing middle class. They've had significant urbanization. They've had, and yet they have more farmers in China than we have people in the United States. So it's still very much an agricultural country. One of the things we did when we were in Hebei recently was signed an MOU. They want to have a Kimberly-style farm in Hebei, which would be not only an agriculture producing farm, but also a tourism attraction for rural tourism. And that was one of the 3 MOUs that we signed, that and one with Highland on chickens, and then one with Transova on cow embryos.
Governor, what kind of conversations have you had with Lieutenant Governor Reynolds about the possibility that you may step down for a new opportunity and she may become the first female governor of Iowa?
Well, we really haven't talked about that. We've really talked about the issues involving the state, and we've worked together as a team from day one. She's led a number of trade missions. She's headed up the the STEM effort and done a great job with that. And she's now leading the effort on our new energy plan for the future of the state. She's been involved in all the decision-making in terms of choosing leadership. She sits on the interviews that we have for department heads, judges, and other positions. So I think she's very well prepared and has great leadership ability.
Mayor, President-elect's coming here on Thursday. Might you travel with him on your return?
Well, we already have commercial airline tickets coming back on Thursday from New York, but we will be back. And I'm looking forward to being there for this thank you tour that he's conducting. And, you know, Iowa was one of the battleground states, and I would say we may be the most successful. A state that was carried by Obama twice, 34 counties that went for Obama went for Trump. He carried 93 of 99 counties. He carried counties historically Republicans have not carried. Well, Dubuque County hadn't been, even Ronald Reagan didn't carry Dubuque County. 1956 is the last time a Republican for president carried Dubuque County. And, you know, I'm kind of a student of Iowa election results. And you look at what happened in Wapello County, Lee County, Des Moines County, Jasper County, you can see in droves, blue-collar voters that have historically and traditionally voted Democrat voted for Trump. And in many other cases, they also helped us. Obviously, I want to give some credit to Rod Blum. Not only did he win re-election, he won by a solid margin, carried Dubuque County, and obviously we won 3 of the 6 state Senate seats in Dubuque County. So, and we picked up 2 House seats, both in his congressional district. So so we had a great team effort with Grassley leading the state effort, and with our 3 incumbent Republican congressmen, with the party leadership and the governor and the lieutenant governor, and all of us working together as a team with we feel really good about what happened. And I guess, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. And I continue to think that the future looks very encouraging for us with the quality of people that were elected and their age. I think you look at these new Republican senators, there is a talented, hardworking group of people. I love to tell the story of Waylon Brown. Waylon Brown went to 27,000 doors and lost 40 pounds, and he won by 62% of the vote. Another one of those blue-collar counties is Charles City, and the lieutenant governor and I went door to door with him in Charles City, and he carried Floyd County. He carried it strong, and I think he defeated an incumbent and got 62% of the vote.
Got time for 2 more, 1 year. Whether or not the president-elect picks you as ambassador to China, what should he be looking for when he picks somebody to fill that role?
Well, I'm not going to speculate on that. I trust the president-elect. I think he's made great choices. I mentioned CMS and the leadership he's chosen for Department of Health and Human Services, but also I think he just announced Housing and Urban Development today, Ben Carson, and I was very impressed with Dr. Ben Carson. I think he's also going to be great. So I think he's doing a good job, and he's an unconventional candidate, which the media dismissed and said had no chance and counted him out time after time after time. All the money people were against him, including all these billionaires and Wall Street people and the establishment. They were all against him, and he proved them all wrong. But here's what he's able to do, and it's something I've always tried to be a student of. If you're going to be an effective public servant, especially a chief executive, you got to be able to connect with the people. And in this era of social media, he has an ability to connect with people. I've seen the rally in Sioux City the Sunday before the election, never seen before. Well, first of all, there was Only half the people were able to get inside the convention center. The other half were outside. But his ability to connect with the people and the enthusiasm was phenomenal. Plus, most of those people I didn't know. And I know most people. I mean, I know a lot of people in this state, but these are not the kind of people that normally come to Republican rallies. And I see that, and I'm very encouraged about the fact that he has an opportunity to bring this country together and build support from hardworking, blue-collar people that historically have never supported Republicans. It's that now the party of wealth and privilege is the Democrats, not us. It's the billionaire people like George Soros and Tom Steyer. They're the fundraisers for the Democrats. We Republicans have the chance now to be the party of the people. And I said that in Sioux City. All of the elites and all of the experts were wrong. The people still decide elections in this country. And that's a great thing about America. And that's why I'm proud to have been a supporter of Donald Trump. And I'm very proud that he's continuing to connect with people and going around to thank the people in battleground states like Iowa that made it possible for him to be the president. He did carry 93 counties, which is pretty phenomenal. I did, but I learned. I will be the first to say that when he came to the Iowa State Fair in 2015 and gave helicopter rides to kids, I thought, nah, this is no way, and I don't think I was wrong. But I learned relatively early. Many of you in the media still didn't learn, or still haven't learned, at least the Washington Post, the New York Times, and a lot of them still haven't learned the lesson. But I learned that lesson early on, and it's a lesson I've learned, I guess, previously, and that is, if you're going to be a good leader, you got to be a good listener, and you got to be able to connect with your people. And Donald Trump has been able to find a way to connect with who would have ever imagined that a billionaire New Yorker, a New York businessman, would be able to connect as well as he has with the blue-collar working people of America, the farmers and rural Americans that feel they've been forgotten and disregarded by the administration and the powers that be. I think it's a pretty phenomenal thing that's occurred, and I certainly am proud of what he's accomplished.
Last question.
Governor, over the weekend, protesters were able to stop the construction of the accident.
It wasn't protesters. It was the Obama administration that directed the Corps of Engineers not to permit be done. It's already built. It's built through Iowa. It's built through Illinois and South Dakota, and this one little segment through North Dakota. But it tells me they haven't learned the lesson. Why do you think the people that the building and construction trades, these are union people that built this pipeline through Iowa, they are wearing caps that say, "Make America Great Again." They voted for Trump. The people that are building those fertilizer plants in southeast Iowa and northwest Iowa, these people supported Donald Trump because they want a leader that's for jobs, that's going to make America great again, but also make America energy independent. And this administration hasn't learned the lesson. They have alienated the working people of America, and this 11th hour action to delay the finishing touches on this just shows how out of touch they are. I guess they're more interested in the money people like Tom Steyer, who provides hundreds of millions of dollars to the Democrat candidates. But they lost this election. They lost this election because the working people are tired of a few elitist billionaires calling the shots. Thank you.